The EFF have intensified their call for the government to close the country's borders, citing increasing concerns over the impact of the Government of National Unity on South Africa's stability and security. The EFF's latest statement highlights their growing apprehension about the strain on resources and the potential threats posed by the current political landscape. At a press conference held on Monday, EFF leader Julius Malema emphasized the urgency of the situation, stating that the GNU has become a source of significant anxiety for South Africans. The government's inability to manage our borders effectively is now giving us sleepless nights. We cannot continue to allow uncontrolled immigration to put additional pressure on our already stretched resources. Malema asserted the EFF's stance is rooted in their broader agenda of promoting economic empowerment and protecting the interests of South African citizens. They argue that the influx of immigrants, exacerbated by the GNU's policies, is contributing to rising unemployment, increased crime rates, and strained public services. Malema called on the government to implement stricter border controls to safeguard the country's economic and social stability. In response to the EFF's demands, government officials have acknowledged the challenges posed by the current political environment but stressed the importance of maintaining South Africa's commitments to international treaties and human rights obligations. While we understand the EFF's concerns, closing our borders is not a feasible solution. We must find a balance between securing our borders and upholding our humanitarian responsibilities, said a spokesperson for the Department of Home Affairs. The call for stricter border controls has sparked a broader debate among political parties and civil society groups. Some critics argue that the EFF's proposal is a reactionary measure that could harm South Africa's reputation and relationships with neighboring countries. They advocate for more comprehensive immigration policies that address the root causes of migration and promote regional cooperation. Meanwhile, supporters of the EFF's position believe that immediate action is necessary to protect South African jobs and resources. We cannot ignore the reality on the ground. Our communities are struggling, and the government must prioritize the needs of its citizens, said an EFF supporter at a recent rally. The GNU, formed as a result of recent political negotiations, has introduced new dynamics into South Africa's political landscape. The EFF's concerns reflect broader anxieties about the implications of power-sharing arrangements and their potential impact on governance and national security. As the debate continues, the government faces increasing pressure to address the issues raised by the EFF while balancing its international obligations and domestic priorities. The call for closing borders is likely to remain a contentious topic, with significant implications for South Africa's immigration policies and its approach to regional cooperation. In the coming weeks, the EFF plans to mobilize support for their cause through public demonstrations and further political engagement. The government, in turn, will need to navigate these complex issues carefully, ensuring that its policies reflect the best interests of both South African citizens and the broader international community.